Let's break the mold. Start believing and stop waiting for the other shoe to drop. Welcome to Wild on 7, presented by Pilot Games. We're here until it's here.
All right, welcome back. This is Wild on 7th, your favorite Wild podcast, presented by Pilot Games. Man, it's kind of nice to have that new sponsor to talk about. We appreciate everything they do to get this podcast going. Kinger, I got to bring you into this. Exhibition games. The Wild are 4-0 right now. I think everybody's kind of feeling the buzz. You put a lot of weight on exhibition games, or you just kind of go with the flow?
I thought you just said you put a lot of weight on.
Wow, that shirt.
Looked at me. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out if we're a juggernaut or a joggernaut. I don't know exactly how you pronounce that word. What do you think?
I think it's a jugger.
A juggernaut?
Juggernaut.
Juggernaut seems more fun.
It sounds cooler.
Like there's liquid involved. I think the preseasons maybe matters, right? I mean, Seattle's 4-0 as well. That kind of, like, in a way seems to ruin it a little bit, but we're 4-0, so why complain? Winning is fun. That's what Billy G says.
Actually, that's what Aaron Sickman says. Winning is fun. Aaron's a nerd, but if you don't know Aaron Sickman, he's the director of PR here with the Minnesota Wild. I do think that the games don't matter. I mean, they matter in that you're trying to get into shape and you're trying to get rid of the summer hockey, which is, throwing sauce passes across the ice, and, you got to get the back pressure, back check in, playing defensively, get your mind right, win battles. I think sometimes coming in after the summer, you don't want to, and I think we even see it in some of these games right now. They're playing the veteran guys, but who's standing out? It's the younger players, and they're I think at times a little bit hungry right now because they've got jobs that they're trying to win, and the veteran guys are smart. You can look at almost at the contracts and say, who's going to be on the team. Right, this year's it's different too coming in this year than it was the last couple years. There was no Kirill Kaprizov. Is he going to sign? When's this going to happen? Like, everything's done. There were no buyouts. The coaching staff was all signed, ready to go. And really the focus this year has been on hockey and improving on last year. And I think you've seen that in the vets. It's been very businesslike. The young guys, though, I think have taken a step in the right direction. And you talk about Dewey, Duhaime, Boldy, Rossi, and even some of these guys on the back end. If you're looking at Lambeau, Stamen Hunt, who I thought had a fantastic game in Milwaukee, they're the ones pushing, making the noise right now, and that's the way it should be. The games in exhibition are going to start to matter when they start icing the right team or the full team, and you start seeing guys like Kaprizov get a minute and a half on the power play, or Eriksson, Ek, and Foligno being the first group out on the penalty kill. And, we'll see there. But the young guys, I think they have impressed, and the games matter in that regard. They matter for them. Wins and losses, no. I mean, the slate is wiped clean. But I do think that winning at times is a mentality too, right? And the Wild proved that they had that last year. And I think Everson goes into all these games wanting to win. I think they coach like they want to win. So they've picked up right where they left off last year.
What did you think of Milwaukee? I mean, neutral site. What was the crowd like? What did a bunch of Wild people travel, or what was it like in Milwaukee?
Yeah, it was pretty Florida actually. It was a full building, and you don't see that on a neutral site really. Big building too. I don't know what the attendance was, but they had some weird spots like right behind the goaltender that were, the seats were folded up. If you can think of the Metrodome back in the day, where over the right field wall, all the seats were kind of folded up. That's what it looked like on the ends. But a lot of people, a lot of Blackhawks fans, and you heard the Wild cheers when they scored. But I mean, there wasn't huge clumps of Wild fans, and I saw them around. Actually, there's some people that stopped me too. I played my junior hockey in Green Bay, and there's some people that stopped and said, "Hey, Ryan, we watch you in junior." They're all decked out in Wild gear, but they're from Green Bay. They live in Green Bay, so
it's nice.
Yeah, we got the Wild fans all the way out there, man.
Why do they play that game in Milwaukee? What is it? Are they priming that for something, or is it just kind of it's in between the two teams, or do you know why? Why do they play that game there?
I think Chicago's trying to grow their fan base a little bit. I think it was a 90-minute bus ride for the Blackhawks. So they take a bus. The Wild took a flight in. We were actually waiting on the Blackhawks a little bit. They got there probably 2 hours before the game. But grow the game. I think they've got some reach there in the Milwaukee market, and it's not too far for people to drive down to Chicago for a game. So you go up there, and You see what it's got. I think the Milwaukee Bucks too. They want to show off that arena. It was a nice building. It really was. It was clean, good setup, good acoustics, which we should get into. The Wild are going to be getting some new acoustics, and man, I felt it there. It's going to make a big difference at the rink.
So they had a good sound system?
Great sound system.
Yeah, it seemed. I noticed it when it was almost hard to talk. Like it was so loud, right?
Yeah, it was great, and you could feel the bass, you could feel the energy. They did a good job too, and I don't know, man. It felt like everybody was dancing there, and maybe it was Sunday after the Packers game. I'm not sure, and everybody's all jazzed, ready to go.
Shampoo effect.
Right. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it was a good environment. It was fun, and I thought they did a great job.
So you had some fans down in Milwaukee. I went to the second annual kickball tournament.
Yeah, I saw you limping in here today.
I didn't actually play. I was late because we moved out of our house.
You were late? Is there a trend here?
Oh, boy. But so the way these people talked about your performance in kickball last year, it was like when someone said they saw Babe Ruth on a train when they were a kid, it was like, well, I'd be saying, what's the furthest anyone's ever kicked one? And they would, well, last year, Ryan Carter was here, and he kicked one almost all the way to the baseball fence, and but he's a pro athlete and all that. So I was like, man, were you just on your game in kickball last year? Or, just be honest, do you feel like when you went home that day, were you like, if I didn't play hockey, I could have done kickball?
So we've got a good buddy, mutual friend, Nick Guzzo, who's got a nice spot on a park in White Bear Lake, Podvin Park. And for his birthday, he threw a kickball game party.
For himself
last year. And
not a bad idea.
This was the second annual one this year. I couldn't make it. We were in Milwaukee or getting ready for it. But last year, again, I took a ton of heat. So I have these cool
cleats.
Yeah, so exactly. I have these sweet New Balance 574s. If you can recall what those shoes are, they're the classic New Balance shoe if you think of them, right? And
they look a lot.
They're brown leather, nice shoes. They're not spikes.
They look a lot like spikes.
They look a lot. No, they're not. They're not spikes. They're just shoes. And
if you wore those New Balance shoes into the rink at Tria here, would you have to place them on the stand for the metal detector?
I tell you what, this is how you can tell they're not spikes. If concrete is wet and you can walk on wet concrete without falling down, they're not spikes.
Well, all I can tell you is that there's a Ryan Carter-shaped hole on the kickball court. They all remember you. I think the logo might be you now for the tournament. They might have you on the trophy. I mean, you left an impression. So I think next year, first Saturday in October, maybe Wes Walls can do that game.
If you didn't play, what was your role?
You know what I did?
Besides
I kind of sat on a bench, and it was actually great because when each team would come in, I would sit by someone from their team, and then they would go out into the field, and then the new people would come in. I was just kind of I was like the backup goalie, hat backwards, at end of the bench, talking to everybody, kind of a glue guy.
A glue guy.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Did you have any? Did anybody drink any adult beverages? Like, were you running out to second base to make sure people weren't cramping up or anything fun like that?
No one seemed to get injured this year. I think they probably don't feel good right now, but yeah, there was some drinking going on, some nice dips. It was a good party.
All right, nice. All right, so let's get back to Wild hockey, and I thought the young guys did a good job last game, standing out too. The special teams were good. Unfortunately, some of these guys that played in last night's game now got sent down to Iowa. Iowa camp opens up, so they're on their way there now. Those guys, Cramarosa, Sammy Walker, Simon Johansson, Joe Hicketts, and Damon Hunt. A couple of these guys really stood out in last night's game.
Yeah, you loved Hunt.
Well, he was great. And, I mean, you look at him, 17 goals in junior last year, 6'1", 203 pounds, like 20-year-old kid. I mean, he looks the part of a pro player, and he made a couple of plays, going down the backside. He got a nice feed from Cramarosa, too. He's almost able to score. I mean, jumping in the play. He looked like a confident guy. He didn't look like a guy that's caught in the bright lights of a road game. A couple times it's, Patrick Kane barreling down on you. He actually got lucky on one of them. I think he caught an edge a little bit, but he stayed on his feet and was able to break up a 3-on-1. But No, I mean, he stood out, and I think that's what you have to do in that spot. I think a lot of these guys knew that they're on the outside looking in, and it's going to take something miraculous for them to make the club. But they made impressions, and Damon Hunt was one of the guys that really stuck out. I think Hickett's the compete level. We talked to Avison about the D core yesterday before the game. It was a young D. Goligoski is really the only NHL D that they had sent on the trip. He said, we're deep. And you know what? These guys have earned the right to play a game. They've had a solid camp. And, I mean, we talked about it. The games start to get more important as they wind down in exhibition. You know, you ice your best roster the last game before. So they're getting down to that now, and they're cutting numbers, and things are getting serious, and these guys earned a game.
What do you think of Lambeau's game? I hear his name a lot when I'm watching the broadcast, but I don't really hear people saying, you know, if they think he's playing well or not. He's just involved. But what do you make of his game?
Well, I think he's a good skater. I think that's one thing that jumps out at you right away. He had a couple of shots from the point where his release was quick, and you can tell he plays with his head up, and he's looking for a little hole. He sees it, he gets it off in a hurry. So he's got a chance to be good walking that line and bringing pucks to the net. That's an art. And a skill when you can get it through those guys coming out at you at top speed and getting it through all the way to the net. He's got that skill set down pat right now. Solid skater. But again, when you're a young D, I had a guy, Mark Fain, that I played with in New Jersey. He'd always kind of say, hey, did you notice me tonight? I said, no, I didn't really. He said, perfect, did my job. You know,
it's like an offensive lineman.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, exactly like an offensive lineman. You don't notice them. They had a pretty good game, and those guys, you know, having to face off against guys like Patrick Kane, Athanasiou, Domi, they didn't get exposed, and they look like they fit in.
That one, what's the guy's name? Happy to see you.
Athanasiou.
That is quite between Cramarosa and Happy to See Ya. I was just listening. It was like sweet music, those names. That one name that's a tricky one, that Happy to See Ya. I mean, if I said that, it basically could pass off for the real name, right?
Yeah.
How do you say it for real?
Athanasiou?
Athanasiou.
Andreas Athanasiou.
And then, God, Cramarosa down to Iowa. Great name. He should just come back for the name alone.
Athanasiou might be most famous here in Minnesota. I think it was last year. It could have been 2 years ago, where he played against the Wild and then tested positive for COVID after, and then one of the outbreaks in the Wild locker room followed that game. So he's kind of like a super spreader in the Wild room.
Yeah, not happy to see you in that
not
case.
Happy to see you in that case.
So Chicago is just trying to be super bad, right? So they get Bedard. I mean, is that kind of what the writing is on the wall?
It seems that way. It was kind of sad. I think Wild fans would love to see Chicago suffer, but it almost isn't satisfying because it's just it's happened like too fast, or it's too harsh. It's painful a little bit, but the disinterest of some of those guys in warm up and throughout the game too, I think, was noticeable a little bit. And there's a lot changing in Chicago. Cough button. Here it goes.
Perfectly done.
How was it? Did you hear the cough?
Well executed.
This is so NHL.
Thank you, Pilot Games. Per diems.
But I think things are changing there, and it's hard. I mean, if we're gonna break it down, I don't understand, if you're going into a rebuild, why you get rid of guys that are in their early 20s that can score 20 and 30 goals. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, how was Kirby Doc not in your rebuild?
Or DeBrincat.
What? I mean, that's basically what you would start with.
30 or 40 goals at 25 years old. Let's get rid of them. It doesn't make any sense, other than if you're legitimately trying to lose. And I think if you go back and reflect on how Chicago got to the point where they won cups with Kane and Taves, it was drafting Taves in like I think third overall, Kane 1 overall. They had to really stink for a couple of years to secure those spots. They got them.
So they're going for generational talent.
Right. And now you look at it and they say, okay, let's say it took you 5 years to get somebody like Bedard to be an NHL impact star. That would put DeBrincat at 30 years old. And they still say, no, it's too late. They don't want it. So it's full futures in Chicago. And I don't know, realistically, who knows how long we see Patrick Kane in a Blackhawks jersey. He was trying out there and he's trying to score, but you could still sense a little bit of disinterest in, a lack of, I don't want to throw the guy under the bus, but not a lack of commitment, but just like not the vibe that you normally would see and feel when you're playing the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah, it's always kind of better when that's a good rival and they're at full strength. I think, hockey fans from Minnesota remember that rivalry since the end of time, and we were on the wrong end of it for a long time.
Oh, a long time. That was my era.
Oh,
We couldn't get past Chicago. It's like we'd
Patrick
have great
Sharp.
years, and we'd go into we'd sweep Chicago during the regular season. We'd go in the playoffs, and then we'd get swept. And it was like, and if you think about it, that's when the Wild, there was a lot of buzz, and we were good teams. Just couldn't get over the Chicago hump because those guys were
They were like the
they were
Yankees.
just better. Yeah.
Yankees to the Twins
Right now, yeah.
It was rough. Duhaime had a great game. Our guest today, I thought he was very noticeable all over the ice last night.
Yeah, he was, and boy, let's pivot this into some of the questions that I think coming into the season that surrounded this club and the success that they have. Can they match what they did last year? Are they going to be a playoff team? Can they improve on last year? And let Kevin Fiala out the door. That's 85 points, 33 goals. How do you replace him? And the fact of the matter is they got draft picks and futures. There wasn't a roster player that came in that package. So that's 85 points out the door. Now you say, okay, well, internally we're going to have to get a little bit better. And, Boldy's going to have to go take another step. And he probably is. And then is Rossi going to be able to assume the role that Boldy had last year, an impact player that surprises, that can play in special teams and, fill big minutes in top six role? Yeah, maybe. But I also think that this fourth line has a chance to make some noise too. You think about it, those guys last year were rookies, Dewey, Duhaime, and it is hard not to get caught up as a young guy in playing a role and doing what you have to do when every mistake could potentially mean that you're in and out of the lineup. And I don't think Dean Evison coaches like that. I really don't. I don't think he drops the hammer and says, boom, no mistakes out of the fourth line tonight or you guys aren't playing. But at the same time, that team could score with their top nine forwards, and that wasn't the role of the fourth line. And they knew, okay, my job is to put the puck in the corner. And we saw Duhaime do it. Put the puck in the corner, finish my hit, stir things up like an egg beater, boom, get out and change, right? And I think we've already seen this year that Dewey and Duhaime, they've just settled down, and they're playing with the puck. Duhaime's goal last night is a perfect example. I think last year in that scenario, he throws that one off the pad, and he battles, he puts his head down, he maybe runs the goaltender a little bit to get some energy. No, not yesterday. He brings it to the backhand, the forehand, he gets Mrazek moving, he goes up over his shoulder with it.
Sure.
Beautiful goal. It was a beautiful goal and a nice forecheck from that line. So I think as we're building what the Wild forward group might look like, it is possible that Rossi starts off on the fourth line and they get those guys together and then they chip in slowly and maybe they can eat into 15, 20 of these 30 goals that the Wild lost with Kevin Fiala. I do think that they're going to have to get much more production out of Boldy to be able to hit those numbers, but I thought Duhaime, that fourth line, those guys, they just collectively looked like they have taken a step, that they are calmer on the ice, that they are aware. And they also, Evison's great at this too, the coaching staff, management in general, empowering them. They looked empowered to be able to make plays.
Yeah, I think Boldy's you don't want to put too much pressure on one guy, but he is kind of, we're looking for those Fiala points. And he certainly looks the part. I think we agree he's a stud. He's a big-time player. It's just how quickly he can do that. He only really played a half a season. He was about a point a game. So if that translates into 80 points, you're really happy. That's right near what Fiala did. That would be huge. And if Rossi even does what Boldy did last year, that now you start feeling like you could replicate what we did last year. I was curious, do you know if the team's going to last year they went to Duluth. They did kind of a thing. The tone around the team this year seems really kind of serious.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like even walking into this rink and walking past practice, I kind of it's on. These dudes are, like you said, there's no uncertainty, there's no buyouts or this or that. It's just we know what we have, and let's go get it. It just feels so different. It doesn't feel like barbecuing and golfing, and I mean, it feels like they're ready to play hockey right now.
It does, and I think some of that might be, and this, it's not an excuse. The Wild are 4-0, right?
Yep.
And but it has actually been a tough schedule. The training camp has for the players, and you think about it, they've got St. Louis coming up. That's 4 straight road games, and travel during preseason is a legit grind. You show up to the rink at 9 o'clock in the morning, you have your pregame skate, you wait around, you go to the airport, you jump on the flight, you get to the rink, you wait around, you put your gear on, you play your game, you fly back home, you get home late, you wake up the next morning, training camp, right? And then it's the same thing. And, you Colorado, for example, it's a 45, 50-minute trip to the airport. So these guys, they're losing an hour coming back. It's a 45-minute trip at 11 o'clock at night to the airport. They get back at 1:30 in the morning, and camp starts at 10 o'clock the next day. And you got to put your hat on, and you got to go to work because it matters. It really does. So I think some of the lack of energy or some of that like fun stuff is the seriousness of the schedule that the Wild are playing right now. I do think the tone is still light. If you go downstairs, it's still happy-go-lucky. But when they go out on the ice, it's kind of like business as usual. Let's put our work in. We're tired. We don't want to be here for 2 hours. Let's make sure that we work hard and smart and get it done in 60 minutes. And I think that they've been doing that.
Yeah, it feels like a winning culture. I mean, it feels like if you were a new player coming into this room, that there's a way we do things now. And I don't know that – I feel like we were kind of figuring that out last year, but now this year it feels like that's –
It seems like the step has been made, right?
Yeah.
Like the questions going into the playoffs, can they do it? Are they going to be able to, get over the hump? Are the special teams going to figure it out? And there were some questions, and they didn't. And this is a good segue into it. It seems like the special teams have figured it out. But speaking of special,
I thought you were gonna. I saw the opening, yeah.
And you saw me take it.
Yeah.
Speaking of special, Minnesota Best 22 Gold Award, Aquarius Home Services. Congratulations to them. They win gold in every category: electrical, plumbing, water treatment, clean sweep. They look like Michael Phelps holding gold medals on there.
There's like a Water Olympics, and they won it?
Well, I don't know that we would call it Water Olympics, but yeah, in terms of that service, they won the gold medal. So,
wow.
I think it's quite an award. I think it illustrates what we've been talking about here on this podcast for a long time, that Aquarius Home Services has earned the right to be recommended. People enjoy it. They do good work. You can find them at aquariushomeservices.com. Man, I tell you what, I talk about it all the time. I love these guys, whether it's because they put the blue booties on and the floor doesn't get scratched and they're respectful, they show up on time, they take care of the water, the family loves them. Man, they've earned the right for me to be recommended.
Hey, let's go back to back. So Jimmy's just won a gold medal for their caramel dip. It's a 2022 gold medal for caramel dip, the caramel dip category. They won a gold medal as well. And so if you ever want to try a caramel...
Give us that round of applause button. Yeah!
So next time you go to the grocery store and you buy the apples, look for the caramel dip, because that will turn a regular bag of pretzels into a Christmas cookies, basically. You can get a cookie sheet out, make some apple nachos with a little bit of drizzle. And as we like to say, it's a Minnesota company, third generation, a gold medal winner for their caramel dip. I mean, what a coincidence. Just here in my notes, gold medal. And if you want to try it, just look for the apples and get some Jimmy's caramel dip. As we like to say, don't ya be messing with the dressing.
Nicely done.
I felt like that was strong. I mean, it's preseason for us too, but we're 2-0.
That was good.
Yeah, we're 2-0.
That was solid. You know, the best part about that is too, you can buy any old apple. We've gone into this before.
Yeah,
you just buy the cheapest apple now, and the caramel dip is like you're eating a gold medal.
Yeah, it's good.
It's awesome.
I made up the gold medal part, but
did you?
Don't tell Aquarius.
It's a caramel medal.
You can eat it.
So back to special teams.
Yeah, what are they doing different? So I didn't realize that Dean said in the post-playoff press conference, he was like, when we try to rebuild this thing next year, we start with special teams. you guys said that on the broadcast last night, but what is he doing differently? Just new guys?
Yeah, I think, and man, I give this whole regime a ton of credit because they if they see something that doesn't work and they try an experiment and it doesn't work, they change it. They don't go back and try it again and try it again and try it again. And Evison has quite frankly said, we're going to give new people a look. We tried it last year with some certain things. It didn't work. So other guys are going to get a chance. And if they succeed, they run with it. That's their spot. And I think it's smart. And he's given guys a chance. Like, for example, we never saw Marcus Foligno really on the power play. And now
he looked good last night.
Now he's net front. Yeah, he's made some plays. And, he's coachable in that sense. And he's going to learn all these little nuance things to it, making plays. He had a nice little bumper play up to Gaudreau. So they've got guys now, I think, too, where they're sometimes when you have a power play, you have to fit guys in. So you got your top power play. Remember Kevin Fiala last year? He wasn't on the top power play, but he's one of your best offensive guys. And he's sitting there on the second power play unit. But you have to shoehorn him into that top power play somehow because you're like, he's one of our best guys. Our power play stinks. Like, I can't keep having one of my best guys not playing on the power play. But the fit really wasn't there. There's only one puck. You have two alphas. Like, you want it run on Carill's side or you want it run on Fiala's side. They both want it. And it didn't work. Now you have guys, and mind you, last year too, Kevin Fiala and Kirill Kaprizov both left-handed. So they both maybe want to man the same spot. Now they've got guys where they have options. Freddie Gaudreau, a right-hander. You've got Marcus Foligno, a left-hander. Open some things up, and then you can flip power play units when they switch, and you can have it run off the other side. And that makes things difficult for a kill. You have to know which unit you're out there against and which unit likes to do different things. So I think that the personnel changes are working right now. And the PP is 5 for 20, 25%. I think if you're at the end of the year, game 82, and you say we had a 25% power play, the Wild would say, bank it, cool, we'll take that all year. That's fantastic. There are power plays that hum a little higher than that, but 25% is fantastic. It's been that during the exhibition. I think they like what they see. Boldy looks like the real deal out there. You touched on how great he appears to be on the cusp of being a star. I don't think he gets enough credit. I'm going to compare him to a guy right now that's got a couple cups, and that's Anze Kopitar. Boldy, he doesn't skate like the wind. He's a smooth skater, and it looks good, but he's not going to beat you with his speed. So he's got to beat you different ways, and he does it with, smarts, his head up. He controls the tempo of the game, and you can almost see it. Everything slows down when he gets it. Anze Kopitar is that same way. If you consume his games, as soon as he gets it, the game slows down. He knows where everybody is. He knows the lanes, the alleys, and he exploits them. So Boldy's not going to blow past you. He might have to beat the same guy twice sometimes. That's where him working this offseason to put weight on, we touched on this in the broadcast too, he looks bigger. You saw the wake surfing piece? Did you happen to see that?
Yeah.
Pretty sweet. Post it up. Check it out. But he looks bigger, strong, thick. He wins battles on the wall. He's winning battles in that front. So he might have to beat you a couple times because his skating isn't like Kevin Fiala, boom, straight up the ice. And he looks great. The power play on the half wall. He looks like a legit two-way threat too, where he can pass the puck and shoot the puck. But the power play, little different. They've got some different looks, but I don't think schematically they've changed a ton of things up. It's just personnel so far.
And what's the kill doing different besides scoring shorthanded goals? You notice anything different or just preseason?
I think some of it's preseason. I think the mantra is that they want to be a little bit more aggressive. The one thing that, talking to the staff, that they have changed is that the forwards are going to be more involved, and they're going to force teams to make 3-4 good passes. And if they can execute those 3 or 4 good passes, they're going to have a good chance. But they're going to force teams to do that. Where before they were more willing to sit back and take things away, and we're going to give you the shot from the outside, and we don't think you're going to beat us. Now they're going to say, all right, beat us. And the forwards are going to be aggressive. So on the half wall, they're going to push. They're going to push guys down, and they're going to force them to beat them through the seam. and you'll see a lot of movement up there. So they're probably going to need 3-4 groups of forwards now because there's going to be a lot more skating. And I'm curious if this is part of the strategy. Last year, we always saw Eriksson Ek and Foligno leg over the boards as soon as the referee's arm went up. They knew they were going out. If the forwards are going to be killing the way they are right now in camp, it'll be more taxing. It'll be harder for them. And if they're playing power play 5-on-5, if they're getting 20 minutes a night, you're going to have to rely on other guys like Dewey or Duhaime to kill some penalties. And they've been putting them out. Dean's been putting them out first, seeing if they can win that faceoff. They've been doing a good job. And, yeah, that's the main difference I've seen right now out of the penalty kill, but they've been great, 94%, 16-17.
I know Duhaime's going to come in here momentarily, but can we just finish with I might have a hockey scar? And I just want to talk through it with you.
You actually do. You came in like a warrior today. I mean, you had like a little bit of a limp. I thought kickball was maybe hard, and it sounds like you were a glue guy, so I don't know where the limp came in. You've got a nice 5 o'clock shadow because I thought maybe you couldn't shave. You've got a little scar under there. What's going on?
Okay, so Tuesday night hockey, beer league.
Are you a Wednesday? You're a Wednesday night guy, right?
I'm a Tuesday night guy. I should play on Wednesday. I'm the worst player on Tuesday. But I never have gotten a puck to the face. Doesn't feel good, by the way. It feels like getting hit in the face with an aluminum bat. And when it happened, one of the guys on the ice just started yelling, "Hockey, hockey, hockey." He was like saying stuff to me, I think, to kind of distract me from, because even now I remember, like, why is he doing that instead of the pain I was feeling. So it split, and so it was bleeding, which the guys liked, and I haven't shaved down, but I'm hoping just a little, like, one of those, like,
kind of want a scar.
Yeah, the like line, just the white line, and it's like, what's that? What's that from? Well, that's a hockey scar. I think it'd be great. I think it's under there, like, once I shave.
So how hard did it hit you? Like,
hard.
Did your teeth hurt?
That was the first thing I checked, but it actually hit up here, and then it split. You know how the teeth basically cut the lip open when it gets hit hard enough? The only problem is I do believe the puck went off my own stick.
So did you ramp it, or like were you...
I was trying to tip it, like, behind myself, and I think I just shot it right into my own face. Or somebody else's stick was involved too. I don't know, but that's not going to matter when someone sees that faint white line above my lip. I'm going to basically be the same as you. I'm NHLPA. I can, like, go into, like, that room and get, like, free stuff. If they see the white scar, they're like, he's probably good.
He's a hockey player. So, like, is your profile picture of, like, you post-game now with, like, a little blood running down?
I tried to use that on wild.com, but the picture was all, like, the specs didn't work. And then, so I'm waiting. That's why I'm kind of shaving. I want to, like, give it a chance to scar up before I shave it down. Yeah, so something to look forward to in the next week or so. We'll see what we're dealing with.
I had my real teeth, through 9 years in the NHL.
All of them?
Yeah. And then, boom, in 1 week, I lost all of them.
So all your teeth are fake?
Actually just the top row, front 4.
Oh, man.
Nino Niederreiter.
Really?
Yeah.
Nino?
In practice.
Oh, no. What happened?
2-on-1 drill, and he just shoots it off of he was a lefty going on the left side off the far post.
Bing.
Bang, boom, right in my mouth.
And was there a guy standing next to you going, hockey, hockey?
No, there was nobody going hockey, hockey. I think I went down in a heap, went back to the bench. One tooth I could taste, like, in my throat.
Oh.
Yeah, the other one was, like, half broken, so it was, like, already gone.
So you swallowed one?
No, it was like, bent back in my throat. So I bend it forward, and I can hear, like, crunch.
No.
Yep.
No.
So I have to go to the dentist. And they're like, yeah, it's no good. 2 days later, I come back to practice, and we're doing power play penalty kill. And Suter, I do the same thing that you did. Suter takes a slap shot on the power play, and it ramps up. My stick hits me right under, like, the middle part of your nose, that cartilage, where if you get hit there, your eyes water no matter what.
Yeah.
So I was crying now in front of everybody. And then the third one was a game. This is all in 7 days.
Jeez.
Third one was in a game, and the puck goes off the stanchion I'm just tracking it on the stanchion, and it comes right off, hits me right in the mouth, and knocks my other tooth out. I think I threw my gear down. I skated to the bench, and I was losing my mind. And Andrew Burnett was just laughing at me. And she's like, "That's good though. Bad things come in threes. That's 3, right? You're good. No, you're good."
Oh,
So,
man.
Yeah, no.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so all 4 teeth. I had them 9 straight years, and then in 7 days, they all one by one gonzo.
Well, the fact that I'm even playing in a shield is just hilarious. I should have full cage mouth guard. I should have like the Walter Payton mouth guard with the thing that goes over your lips. But yeah, I just feel cool with the shield. And now with the scar and the shield, and man, it's all gonna be happening.
Well, dude, I could sit here and tell stories with you all day, but I think there's a guy that's waiting on us that's got a couple cooler stories. Let's bring
him in.
A guy that likely needs no introduction to Wild fans, but we do need some definition here. We've got Dewey 1 and Dewey 2 making some noise. Which one are you?
It's a little bit interchangeable, but I think I'm Dewey 1 for the most part.
Dewey 1, Brandon Duhaime.
Congrats.
Dewey 1. So like, how was Dewey 1 or 2 hashed out? Like, you guys get across the table and arm wrestle? Like, how do you figure that one out?
It was in the American League. The head coach Tim Army just one meeting just said Dewey 1 on the forecheck, and that was me. And then Dewey 2 was Dewar. So then it kind of just it rolled from there.
Did you guys play in the same line?
We did, yeah.
So that was.
Yeah.
So he's like drawing up X's and O's, like forward 1, forward 2, and it's just like Dewey 1, Dewey 2.
It's more. He would just say the Deweys mostly.
At Dewey's, get in there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. All right, man. Well, I tell you what, Kinger, we're gonna bring you in here. We like to do a little thing to get this going, and it's kind of rapid fire. So, not a lot of pressure. Answer with the first thing that comes to your mind. Kinger, you got some high quality ones over there.
Yeah,
Why don't you let it rip?
Let's get you loose here. Get a lather going. Nickname.
Dewey 1.
Oh, wow.
That's a game.
Weirdest thing in your overnight bag.
What's that?
Weirdest thing in your overnight bag.
I got a lot of floss. I floss my teeth all the time, so I'd probably say floss.
You're a chronic flosser.
Yeah, all the time.
You floss with your towel after the shower.
No. That's why I got the sticks of floss. I got them
there you
on me
go.
at all times.
What do you listen to in the car?
I'm a big rap guy.
Really? Who do you listen to?
Like Lil Baby, Juice WRLD, that type of stuff.
Nice. Yeah. It's your birthday. Where are you going to dinner?
Sushi spot.
If you could have a green light in any NHL city, where would it be?
New York.
Hockey jersey you had as a kid.
Olli Jokinen.
Ryan Carter.
Pre-game meal.
Chicken and sweet potato.
Go-to drink at the bar.
Tequila water with a splash of lemonade.
Strong.
That's a sweet order. That's
It's
like what
nice,
I want
I'm
when I go to Starbucks. I can't just order a black coffee because I feel like that's not sophisticated enough. So what's that drink order again?
Tequila water with a splash of lemonade.
That's a Dewey 1. That's what they call that.
That's what we'll just call
nice.
that the Dewey
That's
1.
a Dewey 1.
Nice.
A high-end bar will know that. If you say I'd like a Dewey 1, that's what they give you.
All right, I got a couple here. Who do you text the most?
Probably Boldy.
What's your go-to lazy dinner?
Air fryer chicken and rice.
Nice. Best non-curse word insult. Like you're on the ice, not cursing. Like what's a go-to insult there?
Idiot, probably. That'd probably be
Idiot's
the
good.
Yeah. Family friendly.
Dewey's your nickname around here. You have any other nicknames?
Probably none that we can share on air here. Keep 'em low-key.
Pet peeve.
People bite their nails, maybe.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Intriguing.
I used to be a nail biter too, and
That's a tough look.
Yeah.
When you see the hands, it's like, ugh, I don't like that.
Just look like somebody ran their hands up a cheese
Yeah, you're
grater.
eating yourself.
Like a
basically.
cheese grater. All right. Last one from me. Do you have your own Netflix or HBO accounts?
no, I'm on my parents.
You
Yeah.
poach your parents?
I don't think anyone over the age of like 25.
That's so great. You're in the show using your parents' money to watch
I got
show.
the little emoji guy or character.
Oh, you have your own.
Yeah.
You have your own
Called Dew.
account.
It says Do.
It
That's
says
the name on it. Do.
oh, nice. And then but then your parents can see like what you're watching. You better keep it PG-13.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing too crazy on Netflix that
No.
throw somebody off.
There you go. King, you got any more?
Yeah, perfect weekend. What are you doing? What's a perfect weekend for you?
Something outside or on the water during the day, and then Maybe some drinks with friends at night.
Hidden talent besides flossing?
Elite spear fisherman.
Elite spear
Really?
fisherman.
I mean,
We're going to get into that.
self-proclaimed, but I just started this summer, but I would say borderline elite, yeah.
Quick study.
Borderline elite. Like the program of excellence. We'll have to get into that. Gift card from any store. Where would you want it from?
Best Buy.
Last thing you binge watched?
I watched that Dahmer, or started that Dahmer Netflix series last night. I stopped after 2 episodes. Like,
I did the same thing. I was
little
like,
bit too
why the hell am I watching this?
Yeah.
This guy eats people.
Yeah,
That's
it
worse
was
than
not-
nail biting.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
Buying clothes, where do you go?
He swallows the nails.
He sure does. He swallows the heads.
Oh, I would throw up.
Buying clothes, where do you go?
Lululemon, probably.
Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Who plays you in the movie?
Probably like Tom Cruise or something.
Yeah, baby.
Someone
Nice.
else.
Why not?
Phenomenal.
Maverick.
Is that because you're Mission Impossible 3 or are you Maverick?
Oh, Maverick. I watched that for the first time this summer. I watched them back to back, the old one and then the new one. I had never seen either of them, and it was pretty cool.
What are your thoughts on the difference? But what did you like? I like the old one better, but what did you think?
I like the old one probably. It was a little more realistic, but yeah, after I watched them, I got a haircut and shaved the mustache and
Nice.
It's always
repped
hard.
it for a couple weeks.
Always hard to have a sequel outperform the original, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you love the original so much, it's like it sets expectations so high. But actually, when it comes to that movie, Maverick is kinger. I haven't seen it yet. You still owe me.
I still
got
to take you to a.
Yeah. So we had a bet. It was at college. I played Mankato.
Okay.
He loves the Gophers.
Yep.
They played in the national tournament last year. Mavericks won. Horns up. So my win was taking me and all my college buddies to the movie. I haven't seen it yet.
Mm-hmm.
We were actually on the Bird on the way to Milwaukee yesterday, and that was one of the options on the flight. And I was like, man, I wanted to start watching it, but we didn't have enough time to finish it, so I didn't start. But I'm gonna still hold you to that bet. I haven't seen it.
Great flick.
You think you'd spend the $20 and just let me buy it at home?
Yeah.
We'll settle on that.
That's cool.
All right, deal.
So we got to get in. So unorthodox background, right? Growing up in Florida, what was that like? Tell us kind of how your hockey journey started in Florida, and then getting taken to this amazing pursuit of excellence or whatever it was called.
Yeah. It's not as crazy as everyone would think, and in that South Florida area, there's actually a pretty good hockey community. Just because the Panthers are right there, and they kind of grew the game in that area, so. We had a good group of talent, and a lot of those Panther guys, they'll play there, and then they'll buy places there, and then they'll end up retiring there. So then they got, a lot of NHL dads or whatever that are having kids, and they end up playing hockey. So there's a real good talent down there. And when we were 10 or 12 years old, we had to kind of get some better competition, get a bigger group of guys, and we made like a Team Florida type deal, and we played out of Naples. The kids from Tampa would come down, and then the kids from like Fort Lauderdale, Miami area would go over to Naples, and we had a Team Florida, and we had some real good players on that team, and we would travel, Michigan, Minnesota, and Boston, those areas. We'd have to fly up for games on the weekends, and it was a pretty cool experience. It was probably harder on the parents, but the kids were traveling every weekend, having a blast, so it was fun.
So Parkland, Florida, that's like a suburb of Fort Lauderdale, right?
30 minutes outside of Fort Lauderdale, yeah.
Yeah, inland kinda?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's a good spot, and a lot of guys that play, as you mentioned, for Florida, live in Parkland because it's like a community, nice golf course, right?
Yeah.
Good spot. So, like, were any of your neighbors some of these guys, like, as you were growing up?
Yeah. There was a few. I think Thomas Valcoon lived across the street. He there was a few other Panthers guys that would be, whether it was 2-3 minutes away in different communities, but a lot of those family guys would live in Parkland.
So who was on the team? You were growing up, the Panthers fan. Like, who were the guys? It was Valcoon, Olli Jokinen, that's the jersey, Luongo,
Fleischman. Like there was a lot of guys.
Fleischman. Remember Keith Ballard?
Oh yeah.
Remember Keith?
Yeah.
There's actually a great story. So Keith played here. I played with him here with the Wild. played with the Gophers. I think everybody knows him around here. But Vokoun, if you recall, do you remember the big slash? That was Keith Ballard.
Right in the head, right? He clipped him on the side
his
of the
own guy.
Yeah. Was that bad?
That was Bally.
That's tough.
When he was mad, right?
And everybody lived in that Parkland area. So I think after that, Vokoun was maybe concussed or something. So to
What was
razz
the aftermath of that?
to
Just
razz
concussion?
Keith or something. I'm going to butcher this story. We'll have to call Keith and clarify. But Vokoun would be sitting on the end of his driveway as the guys would be going into the rink that day because he couldn't play because that Keith slashed him full two-hand slash right in the mind. So just like waving goodbye as these guys drive into the rink. But that is a good little hockey community, and there's a lot of guys that live down there. Do you think you'd be a hockey player if the Panthers weren't there?
I think so, because my dad grew up playing, and he put me on skates at 2 years old or whatever it was. So I think I would have ended up playing, but just having the resources and the talent, and I think all that plays into it as well. So.
Wow. So is your dad a hockey player? Like hockey?
Yeah.
So he grew up a hockey player.
Yep.
Yeah. And then boom, you leave Florida at what age to head north?
14, I left and went to a program in British Columbia called Pursuit of Excellence.
And so tell us about that Pursuit of Excellence. I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah.
Minnesota, the way that it works here is you live in Parkland, you play Parkland hockey, and then you graduate from Parkland at 12th grade, and then you play junior, then hopefully college, then beyond there. So that's kind of the path. So what's this Pursuit of Excellence?
Ideally, that would have been the plan, was stay in Florida till I was 18, 19, and then go to college. But, the talent got thin, and traveling on the weekends was pretty hard. So my parents looked into other options for me, and, talking to people around Florida, and somebody recommended this Pursuit of Excellence. So we flew out there when I was 13, the summer when I was going into Bantam hockey or whatever it was, and we flew out there and did a day in the life and kind of toured the facilities and practiced with the teams there, and it was it was something I wanted to do immediately. I loved playing. I loved doing the skill stuff, the workouts, and that played a huge part. I didn't want to go to like a traditional New England prep school where they were playing hockey 3-4 months of the year or whatever it was, and the ice was only in the winter. I wanted to play year round and do the most. So we went out there, really enjoyed it, and then decided to go there. And I played at this Pursuit of Excellence for 14, 15, and 16. And then that was a really special thing. I think the plan was for me to only go for 1 year. Loved it so much, stayed another year. Loved it so much, stayed another year. So, that was a really incredible experience I had there.
And then you end up going to Providence, and what was your college experience like? Compare college hockey to pro. What did you think?
Yeah, college was, especially where I went, was Providence, and that the coach Nate Lehman there, he really instills like a pro game into guys, and it's not run and gun, it's not high scoring. You're not going to have too many high scoring guys on the team, but everyone's contributing, everyone's playing a really hard game, and I think that for me personally, I wasn't going to be a guy in pro that was going to be high skill and all that, but he knew the role I was going to play in the NHL, and he immediately got on me from being a freshman. He instilled that in me, that hard pro style game, and that was kind of what I went there for, because the recommendations I had of him was he's a hard coach. He's going to push you, and it was an easy decision for me to go there, and I loved my 3 years.
Awesome.
That one thing that's not really in the college game, it is like fighting in room for 122 PIMs like you put up last year. I think that led the team, right? 122 PIMs. Like when does that become a part of your game?
It wasn't so much in junior either. It was like I was playing more, not a skill game, but I was still playing hard back then.
That's really, everybody's a skill guy until some point, right?
No one's really fighting that much in the USHL either. So
You did have 97 penalty minutes in the USHL.
It's probably a bunch of bad hits or something.
Yeah, 10-minute misconducts for calling people idiots.
Let's.
It wasn't like I think I had 3 fights or something like that in junior, and it wasn't really a big part of my game. And then in pro, it was like I didn't think I was going into pro to fight. Like it was just part of it. And then I played with some tough guys at my first year in Mike Liambus and Cody McLeod, and they didn't really let me fight that much either. Like if there was a scrum, they were kind of pulling me out and they were going first. So there was no pressure on me to fight at all. But it just I don't know, it just kind of came about, and and it was something I didn't mind doing. And if I'm playing a hard game, sometimes I'm gonna have to answer. If there's a bad hit, you got to answer for your teammates, and it's just something I like doing.
Liambus is he's a tough cat, isn't he?
Killer, man.
Oh my gosh. So I was at the end of my career, I was coming back from shoulder surgery, and I was playing in Iowa, and we had to go out to Milwaukee actually, and that's where Evison was coaching, and he had him there.
Yeah, he's no joke. Man.
No, he wasn't.
No
I end up spearing a guy where you shouldn't spear him.
Yeah.
I got 2-5-10 boot up from that game. We jump on the bus. We drive all the way back to Milwaukee. It's the second of a back-to-back. We get in at like 6 in the morning, and then we have to play a 5 o'clock game that night. I had Chipotle for my pregame meal at noon. I get to the rink. I haven't slept at all, and I've got an entire pot of coffee in me just trying to like get up for this game. And it was Derek Lalonde Newsy. Now he's the coach of Detroit. He puts the starting lineup up there, and I've got to start, and I'm like ice cold. I cannot get warmed up for this game. And lo and behold, who's lined up across from me? Liambus.
Yeah.
And he's like, "We're
that
going."
Mexican?
And I was like, "I'm
God.
not fighting you. I'm not fighting you, you moron.
Yeah.
I do not want to fight you. I'm 36 years old. I'm ice cold.
I
I
just
got a
had
pot of
Chipotle.
coffee in me." I said, "I'm not fighting you." He's like, "You got to own what you did yesterday." And I was like, "I will. If that guy wants to fight, I'll fight him."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Okay, good. I'll set it up." so he sets it up. I end up fighting the guy. And then Liambus is like coaching me. He goes, "Hey, you got to wait like 10 seconds. Otherwise, you get kicked out of the game and you're not playing anymore." And I was like,
He's an unbelievable. He was probably one of my favorite teammates my
Yeah.
first year. Like he's an unbelievable guy. He was the first one to take me and Dewey out to dinner. Like he's a special guy.
he's trying
You would
to
have
help.
no idea because you look at him on the ice, you're like, holy. Like,
Yeah. Plays hard,
Yeah.
mean. He's trying to help me out. He's like, "Just so you know, you got to wait like 10 seconds before you get going. Otherwise, you get kicked out of the game." And then I was like, "Well, here's the issue. You tell him that there's no chance I'm waiting 10 seconds. I want to be done with this game as soon as this is over." So
That's hilarious.
this was in Des Moines now. The guy on the clock let it run down to 11 seconds, so I was able to stay in the game. So then I go back to the box after I'm yelling at the clock guy. I was like, "Hey, I wanted to be done. I'm tired." But no, yeah. So that I don't think anybody nowadays goes into it thinking that they have to fight. It's just kind of a part of the job.
Yeah.
I respect the snot out of you for doing that. I think put that stuff aside. You're making good plays with the puck. Like last night, perfect example. Great goal, is beautiful. Top shelf. What's changed this year? Like, have things slowed down for you? Like, do you feel confident and able to make plays, and that the coaching staff trusts you to try things offensively?
Yeah, I think just having a year under your belt and kind of knowing what to expect. Last year I thought I had a better start than finish, and I think that was just taking care of myself and doing the right things outside the rink, and the little things. And I know what to expect a lot more this year, and I'm looking forward to putting on a better second year.
So, has anything changed in camp? I think you've seen growth between Dewey 1, Dewey 2. You guys, you look confident. You look like you know each other out there. Has anything changed? You talk about it, or is it just like, let's go play?
I think it's a let's go play right now. It's preseason, and Dewey knows how to play the right way. Like he's always gonna play the right way, and adding Marco to that group, like that playing with Marco last night, like you guys see what he does. He's a special talent, and offensively with the puck, there's no hesitation in his game. He's gonna make the right play every time. So for me, it's more so just trying to learn Marco's game and learn that offensive side of what he's doing, and just feeding off that, and not getting in his way.
So you're known for bringing some energy and probably managing a room. Kinger, you found a nice little tidbit on him there where he might have some experience, some education on how to handle groups of people.
Yeah, sociology major. So, I looked this up. Usually in Google, it just says, what jobs can you do if you have a sociology major? That's kind of the first question. But you're supposed to be good at analyzing human interactions, studying individuals, groups, communities, organizations, cultures, and societies. Something I know that you do. So when you look at this year's Wild Team 22-23, what does it feel different? You know, that group, because you would be able to look at that. What feels different this year compared to last?
I'd say, it's pretty like, I think it's just accountability that, we have in the room, and that's a big thing that the staff touched on. We want to be more accountable to each other, and as far as energy in the room, I don't think much has changed. I think last year we had a really good energy and a really good vibe with the team, and team camaraderie and everything like that. So I think it's pretty similar in that aspect, but, there were obviously some changes we needed to make, and, through the postseason, whatever it was, and I think we made those adjustments so far.
Yeah, it feels intense. Like, even when I watch you guys practicing, it feels like you're ready to, like, start the season now.
Yeah.
I mean, is that kind of what it feels like for you?
100%. I think you practice so much over the over summer, and you get into camp and you just want to play. Like, you almost rather play a game every day versus, practicing and stuff. Obviously the practice stuff's important, but, we got guys that are hungry and want to get in there.
I was talking about this before. Has this camp kind of felt like a grind? Like, it's 4 road games. I think maybe you'll end up playing in 2 of the 4 or whatever it's been. But, like, the travel can be hard, like you've got the morning skate, then you're at the rink for lunch, then you're right to the airplane, then the rink, then back home late, then turn right around, you're at the rink again already this morning.
Yeah.
Like, has it felt long? Like, do those games take a little out of you?
I was sitting there last night thinking to myself, what do I have to complain about? I'm going on a team private jet. Like, I'm eating sushi on the plane. Like, what do I got to complain about? Like, no, I don't mind the travel.
It's hard, though. It does wear you down.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that maybe it's a little bit harder, but not too many complaints.
Airplane sushi opens another can of worms. Like, I don't know. It's like eating strip mall sushi.
I was eating that salmon nigiri, no problem. I was hammering them. It was
a nice little post-game meal. Yeah, no question about it.
No complaints from me.
So, self-proclaimed expert spear fisherman. Tell us about it.
Elite spear.
Elite.
Let's get that.
Borderline elite is what he said.
Yeah.
Borderline elite. BE.
Some people would probably tell you differently. I think my girlfriend would probably laugh at that comment because
she's better.
No, she's not better. She's not better. She didn't spear any fish last time we went, and I did. So, no, she's from the Florida Keys, and her sister, her boyfriend has, like, he's a charter fisherman, big time spear fisherman. He's doing that stuff every night. He's lobstering, all that stuff. So he's the one who's taking us out. So he's basically got 100 spots pinged on his GPS, and we're going out there, and he drops us in this spot, and the spots are significant landmarks, whether it's like a big rock ledge or something like that. So we're going out in the water, we're diving down. If we see a big fish, then we grab the spears and then we kind of hunt it down. Or if there's no fish, we'll look for lobsters in that area. So for the most part, it's a lot of lobstering, but at the occasional spot you'll find like a big grouper fish or something like that where you can spear it. And I got a picture I'll show you after.
Yeah, we need that picture. I'm so floored right now. So I thought spear fishing is like in Minnesota, if you're spear fishing, well, first of all, I think we really only do it on the ice. We cut a big hole. We have a dark tent.
Yeah, no,
we look down, and then you have a decoy fish that swims down there, and you like literally just
wait for one.
I'm in there. I got a gun.
So you're swimming.
Oh yeah.
With a gun, like a spear gun.
I got the goggles. I got the snorkel.
So you're holding your breath.
So you got to basically dive down, and if you're getting a minute breath hold, that's pretty good. So you got to whether we're in 10 feet or 35 feet, you dive down, and then you got a weight belt on too, so it's a little easier to get down there and stay down there. And then you take your shot at the fish, and if you miss, you miss. If you hit it, you hit it.
And are you in one of those boats with like the fan on the back, like?
No,
that's gators.
Airboats, yeah, that's a gator boat.
Have you been in one ever though?
Yeah,
you have. Yeah, you have.
Yeah.
He for sure has.
Tours and stuff.
He's got Florida in his blood.
Well, he's got the hair for it too. His hair would look great going on one of those fan boats.
Yeah.
But so now I'm curious too. 60-second air hold, you said.
Yep.
You got to do me a favor sometime. Just hold your breath for one whole shift. Let's see if you can do it. Because swimming's hard.
I've done, like, in the hot tub, we mess around and try to hold our breath, but I did it for like 2 minutes one time. 2:10.
2:10?
Just like
PB, personal best, 2:10?
Yeah, you're completely still in the water, but swimming around's a lot harder. It takes it out of you, but
I'm sure the trainers like it when you're just underwater for 2 minutes.
they got to check on you sometimes.
Just make them nervous. That'd be like a good prank to pull on Worlds or something like that, like drowning in the sardine can tub down there. Well, actually, the facilities here are nice, but at the X, that'd be hilarious. So spearfishing, yeah, man, that's impressive. 60-minute hold. You're gonna have to next time you're down there, throw some of that stuff on ice and ship it back up here. I wouldn't mind a little spearfishing.
Yeah.
Lobster.
Some lobster.
My parents took it all last time. They ate all the lobster because we went the last weekend I was home, we went, and I think we caught like 15 lobsters or whatever it was in that one time. So my family had a nice feast without me.
Yeah. Hey, Brandon, thanks.
Yeah, seriously.
Hope you're
and then,
doing well.
I speared a big grouper, probably like I don't know, probably this big-ish, and they said it was the best fish they've ever had, but I didn't get to taste it.
Yeah, it looked like a 36 to 40-inch grouper. That would be fun. So is that the biggest thing you've speared?
Yeah.
And this is a new hobby.
Oh yeah, fresh.
But you're all in.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get the gitch when I get home, like the fins, the gun, the snorkel, everything.
So you've got your first paycheck spent already.
It's actually not as expensive. Like the gun's only like $500 or whatever, and then the fins $200, and it lasts forever. So I will be making a purchase when I get
If
home.
you brought a teammate, if you wanted to bring a teammate into this world with you, who is it on this team?
That's the thing, because anyone I tell I go spearfishing, they're like, "You're crazy. Like I would never go in the water that deep." Like, so I don't know.
No prospects.
Boldy.
Maybe like Mids or something. Mids pegs me as a guy that would be able to hold his own down there.
Well, he probably could store enough oxygen in his mustache to stay down there for 2 minutes.
He's got a couple tanks.
Yeah, he's got some airbags. So I got one more for you, Boldy. You said that he's who you text the most. What are you guys chatting about? Is this through Instagram? Like
Nonsense. Like we live in the same building, so we're always driving together. And
Does he got his own place now?
What's that?
Does he have his own place now?
No. He's in an apartment.
Okay, I
Yeah.
thought he was living with Greener. I don't know if that's still the case.
Yeah, he's got his own apartment now. He's he's designing it as well as he could. Like he's got nonsense pictures on the walls, and I guess he ordered a Rolling Stones poster that was supposed to take up a giant wall, but it was only like a 12 by 12.
Yeah, 12 by 12. That's
Yeah.
inches, not feet.
Yeah, pretty underwhelming. But
Hey, was he bummed that he didn't win the golf tournament? It seemed like he was a little upset about it. Like he didn't play well, or
100% it killed his ego.
right? Yeah, like
100%.
I could just feel like this guy's not having
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Like he hates Sam Steele now. Like he just, even though
Definitely a
he's
rivalry
just like,
going on there. Yeah.
Well, Kanger, unless you have anything else for him, we'll let him go. As we mentioned, the preseason's been a grind. He was eating sushi. He might be a little tired from all that sodium in the soy sauce here today. But I appreciate your time, man. It's been fun to watch you during camp have success out there. Obviously, last night's game was fantastic, too. So keep it going, man. It's fun to watch.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
thanks for coming. This has been Wild on 7th. We're here.
Till it's here.
What a sign out. Yeah, I like that. A little 1-2 punch on that one.
That's right.
Thanks, man.
No problem.